Yeah, something a bit different today. I'm going to be giving you my shortish term review on the Nukeproof Scout. I've probably 2 rides in on this. We're at Gwydir Forest, the old Marin Trail here today. So I'm going to take it for a spin round there and see how it feels on quite a long trail. I think it's perfectly suited to this trail. XC style trail, quite long, so the efficiency of the hardtail will work perfectly. So I got the Nukeproof Scout Comp 290, which is 29-inch wheel. It comes with kind of a mixed bag in terms of drivetrain, but we've got a 51 tooth cassette on the back there, 12 speed, with a Shimano Dior derailleur. It's got some WTB wheels with Nukeproof hubs. It's on Schwalbe knobby nick on the rear, 2.35, and a 2.4 Magic Mary on the front. Comes with the Marzocchi Bomber Z2 fork at 130mm, which so far has been great, and it's got some SRAM DB8 brakes on there, and the rest of the kit is Nukeproof with a Ascend dropper post there, which is actually quite a decent size drop for the bike. So yeah, I'm going to give that a spin round. Gwydir Forest today, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. And we're straight into a techie climb. It's nothing like a nice easy warm up, just to get you in the mood for the ride. Woo! It's a Welsh warm up. Yeah, woo! So my name is definitely not Geico Stephen. I haven't been a professional mountain bike tester for 21 years. But I have been riding bikes for a long time, and in that time I've made lots of mistakes in terms of buying equipment, and I've got it right a lot of the time as well. So these opinions are purely mine, from my perspective, my riding style, etc, etc. So I hope it's useful. I think really the reason I'm saying that is because bike testers have the privilege of testing lots of equipment all the time, so they're more tuned into working out the differences between kit. So from a climbing perspective, it's very efficient and surprisingly comfortable. My last hardtail, which I had about 2 years ago, was a steel Pace 297. So 27.5, if I've got the number right, that is. 27.5 hardcore hardtail made from steel. Climbing wise, very efficient, 29 wheels, superb. Rolls over everything very, very well. And can carry a good pace, ride a high gear. So this level of kit on this hardtail frame is about 1900 quid normally. That's full price for this bike, but I stole it from Wiggle there at 999. Absolute bargain. It's so much kit for the money. So yeah, a bit of a steal. There's plenty of bargains to be had out there. So if you're thinking about a bike, as I mentioned in previous video, this makes a perfect winter training tool. Great for these type of trails as well, the longer trail centre type stuff. Kind of really bring some excitement back to those rides for you, for sure. Keep some of the wear and tear off your full suspension, or your e-bike particularly, through winter, driving grit and wet water into those key moving parts and suspension parts and motors and everything. So it's got all the things I would look for in a hardtail, I would see as a bare minimum. And that is 1x gears, 12 speed preferably, decent tyres that are tubeless ready, so you can set them up tubeless straight away for increased grip and puncture resistance. And lastly, dropper post. The one down from this at the moment is 800 quid, and it's got slightly lower spec everywhere and doesn't have the dropper post, but still a totally decent bike, same geometry, etc. Still going to have a hoot on it. So there's a kit level above as well, which comes with sort of XT or SLX, I think, and a 34 fork, I think it is, or a Pike or something like that. So yeah, top level spec, and that was, I think, 2.5 grand, so it's probably been reduced somewhat. Okay, so we're into a nice bit of single track. I'm happy it's dry because it allows me to concentrate on the bike rather than the conditions. Obviously got to take your time a little bit more on a hardtail. Allow for them bumps to wait for them bumps to kind of knock you off a bit, and particularly the line of your back. The fork's doing all the work because you've no rear suspension, so you're relying on the suspension of the fork, and you really need to set your fork up very well. Woo! You go there, doing a great job of getting out of the way. Woo! Yeah, it's nice. So it's very direct on this. You've got to really pump the bike and maximise your grip where you can. But yeah, it's fun. So you'll notice on a hardtail you kind of get that. The back wheel does a lot more skipping when you're braking. The suspension, obviously under braking force on a full suspension bike, is very reactive, more so than you realise until you get on a hardtail, and then you kind of realise then just how much the bike's working for you to keep grip. So you kind of got to concentrate, but I have to say this is obviously a bumpy affair, but my god, it's enjoyable. And you've got to pump the bike as much as you can, really concentrate on your grip, and obviously, hey, ride within your ability. Woo! Definitely not quite there with how far I can lean this bike over yet. A little bit cautious, nothing wrong with that. It's a new bike at the end of the day, and these rocks are very slippy under braking. Probably better if you rock it down here, but woo! Yeah, just nice and steady, and just it's a real test of braking control. Great fun. Yeah, nice. So I think Lindsay can confirm the efficiency of the hardtail. What do you
keep up today?
I'm accidentally killing her, which is normally the opposite way around, so I think it's absolutely brilliant so far. I just absolutely love it. I mentioned in a previous video, I don't think there's anything I'd change on this except the stem. I prefer a short stubby stem, and I do feel like I'm a little bit stretched out on it. So 35mm stem, I think they're 13 quid, would you believe, for the same stem that's on it now, but shorter. Other than that, the brakes are fine. They're lacking serious bite, but for the type of trails I'm going to ride on this, they're absolutely fine. If it was my only bike and I was riding lots of you know, steeper tech and higher tracks on it, I probably would upgrade the brakes. It's all round ability. These DB8s are absolutely fine. Still find myself choosing some full suspension lines and then suffering the consequences of doing so. It's really punchy, this, on the climbs as well. These little undulating climbs, really punchy. Great bike for that. And so we've got the right range of gearing as well. Yeah, special mention to the HT components pedals that I've got on this bike. 35 quid, composite flat, so much grip. Really surprised with just how grippy they are. It's absolutely superb. Kind of experimenting with tyre pressures at the moment, seeing what I can get away with without rim strikes. and getting sort of best world of grip. Yeah, dude, nice. It's lovely. Woo! You've got to be laser precise with the hardtail and don't push it too unnecessarily through the chop. Oh. You got to remember to dip those heels as much as you can, but probably not as capable as the hardest of hardtails. But I have to say, it's riding a tough old trail today here. Rough rock is probably not its strongest point. Really enjoying the climbing on this Scout. When it's not too rough, the efficiency is great and the 29 rear wheel just rolls over stuff so well. Superb climbing like on this stuff. Comparing it to the steel that I used to own, and not feeling a big difference at all in terms of that sort of chatter and buzz that the steel's supposed to remove. I'm sort of not getting that from this bike. I think it's very, very comfortable really. Corner's great, bottom bracket is super low. It's not causing me really any pedal strike problems. I'm generally quite careful anyway. Bottom bracket's low on my other bike as well, so kind of used to putting in the little cranks where you need to. But no, it's corners really well, and I'm not even anywhere near used to it yet. And you get to these little climbs and you know you're better off out the saddle really, just punching up them. But it's great, I'm loving it. So I think if it was your only bike, slightly longer travel and more capable fork would definitely transform its downhill ability. But that's not to say it descends badly. That's the only thing I could think to improve it if you were going to take it on all kinds of trails. It would just give you a little bit more sure-footedness up front. Yeah, this is where it comes alive. Slightly less rough single track. Oh yeah, it loves it, absolutely loves it. Yeah, so if I would seriously consider taking this instead of taking the full suspension on certain rides, then it's a great bike. It's that simple. If I just want to leave it in the shed all the time, unless I'm just riding really easy local trails and it's full of slop and mud and I don't want to mess my other bike up, it's not such a good bike. It's just a tool of convenience. And this honestly feels like I would potentially choose to ride it, which is awesome. But this is a superb descent. It's got quite a tasty drop in it. I've had a crash on this before. Just take your time on this one. Oh yes, nice. Got alright on the hardtail actually. Landed it fairly well. Oh, it's such a lovely piece of tech flow. It's gorgeous. Oh, it just drops in it for days. Woo, yeah. Oh, nice. The better you send those, the smoother it is on the hardtail. Okay, dropping in for our last bit of fun for today. Woo! Yeah! So much fun this trail. It's brilliant. Oh. It's just an absolute hoot to ride. I don't know how it compares to a white or, you know, any other hardtails, a chameleon, or, you know, there's so many good hardtails out there now. The geo numbers are right and it feels right. It doesn't feel significantly rougher than the steel hardtail I had. In fact, it's obviously a little while ago, so I can't fully remember, but I don't think it buzzes any worse than that. I'm not saying there isn't something in it, some would argue, but one thing I can tell you is I'm having a great time on this bike. Got a big smile on my face. Yes, it's rough. Never going to put my fastest time down this trail on this bike, but I'm having a great time, and it's been really easy to pedal around it. So much efficiency on those climbs, particularly the fire road stuff, and the less rough of the single track. It's just been an absolute blast. So much fun. Just had a great day. Woo! What a superb section of trail this is. And even on this hardtail 29, just let it roll, man. Such a capable bike. Woo! Boy! Had to check myself there a little bit. Get out, get yourself hardtail, give yourself options when you're riding certain trails. As a winter bike, awesome, but don't discount it. Take it on trails where you're thinking, you know what, it's quite a long ride back today. Maybe I could do with the efficiency. You won't regret it. If you think the trails are a little bit easy for you, taking the hardtail is certainly going to make it harder. It's going to sharpen your focus, your skills for sure. Right guys, so that was Gwydir Mawr on the Nukeproof Scout 290 comp. Great bike, as I said, there's no spec I'd want to change. Very small thing for me, I'd put a shorter stem on it, just to sharpen up the steering a little bit. If this was my only bike, I would probably upgrade to a 140 or 150mm fork, and probably something a little bit burlier. I think that would really open up the possibilities of the bike, but it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Really had a great time on it, guys. For £1,000, that is one hell of a machine, let me tell you. It's unbelievable. It is a £1,900 bike reduced to £1,000, and yeah, it's properly sorted bike for £1,000. You're not going to get anything better than that, really. Loved it, great ride, geometry spot on, it pedals really well, it's super efficient, really good fun on the trails, had a great time. So that's me signing out.